It just matters how big this is, right? All right. So when you're having a bad day and you're not sure which nerves you need to fire, and you're not sure which direction you need to fire those nerves, just remember that the best adjustments don't come from here. They come from right here. So when you wake up in the morning and you go to put your tie on, even if you don't wear a tie to work, that's okay. But when you put it on and you look in the mirror and you say, dang, Dr. O, you look pretty good. And you're going to rock it with your adjustments today. All right? And that's what you need to say when you get up in the morning and you put your game face on, because you're going to rock it. The speed of vertebral movement and the relative position of the vertebral displacement appear to be encoded by nerve activity from intervertebral muscles, which we're going to change with our adjustment. Joint dysfunction leads to altered input from deep intervertebral muscles to the central nervous system. This is why we do what we do. You know, it works. It works. All kinds of stuff. Simply stated. That was all the 4.0 stuff, right? This is the simple stuff. When there's a stuck joint in the spine, the muscles around the joint don't get stretched, which means the brain doesn't receive the proper information about what is going on at that segmental level, which means mission control can't control missions. We go back here. Yep.
Thank you.
Which means that when we adjust, what are we going to do? Put mission control back in control. All right? And all this stuff can happen. But is this why we adjust? Or are these just side effects? Right? Those are all in your notes. Havoc's work, reality check, you should read it. All right? You can download it. It's a free PDF, 72-page PDF. It's about humans, but you know the cool thing in it? She cites 5 animal studies that were done to prove that chiropractic works in humans. So if those studies worked to prove it worked in humans, they must have proved that it works in animals too, because they were actually done on animals. And I find it amazing that we can do stuff in animals and then say, well, if it works in an animal, it must work in a human. But yet, if it works in a human, that doesn't necessarily mean it works in animals. That's just our, our dichotomy of way of thinking. When in doubt, adjust. So we have this lady in one of our students that spent $8,502 to prove animal chiropractic didn't work. She's a board-certified equine surgeon. She spent the money because somebody pissed her off. Don't piss a woman off. But anyway, somebody pissed her off. She said chiropractic is a crock, and I'm going to prove it. So she spent $8,502 to enroll in a chiropractic program so that she could prove that animal chiropractic did not work. Guess what? She chose the wrong program. 25 to 30% of her practice is now animal chiropractic. She's spoken at the AAP at least twice on the benefits of animal chiropractic in your equine practice. And she calls us up occasionally and she says, Dr. O, you're in my head and I can't get you out. So she's called me one day and she said, well, you were with me again last night, Dr. O. I said, all right, how? She said, well, I got called out at 2 o'clock. Well, first off, she corrected a head tilt. For some non-English speaking people that had a horse with a head tilt, that they did some backyard racing that maybe not legal, but it was backyard racing, and she corrected the head tilt and the horse won. So she gets called back to this same barn, I don't know, about a year later. And I apologize for my foreign language because it's not very good. But anyway, they get called back and it's 2 o'clock in the morning and she pulls up with her bilingual speaking tech and the horse is just like standing there. He really can't stand up and got this big bulge in the side of the neck. And she goes, oh, that horse's neck is broke. We're going to put it to sleep. So she tells Rosie to go talk to him and she goes to get her stuff. Well, Rosie goes, she goes, Dr. Amy, you better get that stuff. Come over here. So she goes over there. And the guy goes up to her and goes, you fixed. You good. She goes, oh, wow. She goes, yeah, you fixed. You good. She goes, well, I heard Dr. O in the back of my head, and if all else fails, adjust the atlas. She said, okay. So I thought, so if the atlas is broken and I adjust it, what's the worst thing that can happen? Horse is going to die. Okay. If I don't adjust the atlas and do what I was going to do, what's going to happen? Horse is going to die. All right, Dr. O, here we go. Boom. Horse shook his head. Guy goes, you good, you fixed rest. She goes, oh. She goes, all right, Rosie, tell him that this could kill her horse. So she sets up on C4 because it's like obviously out of place. What's the one contraindication for chiropractic care? Fracture. She sets up on C4, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. She tells everybody, might kill the horse. She sets up, looks away. Now this isn't me, this is Dr. Amy. She remembers Dr. Amy, flicks. She says, it wasn't an audible, Dr. O. It was the most god-awful bone-on-bone grinding you've ever heard. And the horse went, hi-oh, Silver! And stood there. And she said, I was 100% sure the horse was dead. Just didn't know it yet. So she's getting everybody out of the way. The horse comes down. Lands on 4 feet. Does a whole body shake. She says, come on, Rosie, we're going. Tell him to bring the horse in the morning. They got in the truck and they left. Next morning, she's doing paperwork. The techs come in and they go, Dr. Amy, that horse is here from last night. What do you want to do with it? Oh my God, be careful. Don't put it in the clinic. Don't put it in a corner. Leave it out. So they go out. They're not thinking, you're crazy. This horse is fine. They must have 2 horses. Maybe they brought the wrong one. No, they've only got 1. So she goes out. She goes out. Did I not turn this back on? So she goes out, and the horse is fine. The horse is neurologically normal. So they take an X-ray. C4 fracture. She goes, okay. 6 months pasture rest. Then we'll see. We'll re-X-ray. So a couple months go by, and she sees this horse at like maybe 2.5, 3 months. Not the horse, the owner. She goes, how's that horse doing? You good, you good. He will. He will. Yep.
Did they
So.
say how the neck got broken?
Nope, nobody saw it. They just found the horse dead. No idea. So, the power of the adjustment. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been told, you gotta do x-rays before you adjust. Well, why? What are the alternatives on some of these horses? That horse, the way it was, could not have got to an x-ray machine. He would have not have survived the trailer ride. Right? So sometimes we adjust when in doubt. Don't be afraid. Know your anatomy. Get a model, get a real spine, practice. Practice, practice. How many of you have a speeder board? Use it. Buy yourself one of Doug and, I don't remember what her name, Doug and somebody stuffed animals. They look pretty realistic. Buy one of them, put the speeder board underneath, adjust it. Adjust it. Adjust it. Right? You know, how do we get better muscle memory? Practice, repetition, all right? Adjust, all right? Anything can cause anything. We know that the function of the spine impacts how the brain organizes and interprets sensory information from the rest of the body. One subluxation anywhere in the body can cause anything. I mean, yeah, some of this stuff we can explain. You know, T12 is subluxated and you got a right kidney that's not working right. Why? T12 subluxations cause an nerve impingement to the right kidney. Makes sense. But some of this stuff, when you fix it, it's like, how'd that happen? Don't know. All I know is that we find and fix it, leave it alone. You know, and let me phrase that a little bit different, because in our practice, I'll fix something or I'll adjust something, and the animal will fix something, and the people will be really excited, and I'll be really excited, and I'll go to Dr. Amy and I'll say, oh my God, this just happened, and she goes, yeah, I know, because this nerve is connected to that nerve, is connected to this nerve, and you did this with the sympathetic, parasympathetic, blah, 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 and it just happens. And I'm like, wow, great, I'm glad you're excited too. You know, and there's people that can explain that, but you know what? Thank goodness we don't have to explain it, because all we have to know is that the adjustment does what? It works. The adjustment works, as long as we do it. All right? Acts how the brain controls muscles throughout the body. Spinal function is background processing. It's huge. White noise. Read Heidi's book if you haven't. It's only 72 pages. It's amazing. Communication between the spine and brain influences the accuracy of the brain's inner reality about what is really happening in the body. Why did I get adjusted before every lecture this week? To turn myself on so that I could give you 110%, so that I could give you everything I got. Because if I'm subluxated, I can't do that. And to show you guys how important the adjustment is, it is huge. It is huge. It's a major part of our life. It is why we are where we are. Okay? Back in 2002, Leslie sent me a letter and said, Dr. O, you don't have it. You need CE. You got to get CE. It's like, crap. I ain't got no money. Where can I get CE at? She said, you got to go to Davenport, Iowa. I ain't got no money. How come there's nothing in Texas? This is where nobody ever planned anything in Texas. Why don't you plan something in Texas? Okay. So I put together some speakers and I said, will this be good for 20 hours of CE? And she said, yeah, it looks really good. She goes, oh, by the way, can we have the annual meeting there with that speech? Because we don't know where we're going to have it. I said, okay. Guess we probably shouldn't have it in Motel 6 then, should we? So Dr. O's clinic hosted the 2002 ABCA conference at Parker Chiropractic College because he didn't have enough money to go to Davenport, Iowa to get CE. So 23 people showed up. My CE that year cost me 30 cents an hour. Yes! A lot of time, but a whole lot, I was still certified. And out of that meeting came Parker Chiropractic College. And out of that meeting came this meeting you're at right now. Because without that meeting, we'd still be in Davenport, Iowa. So out of that meeting came this. We're now in a nice resort. There's over 200 people here. Out of that meeting came ACEs. Out of that meeting, 3/4 of the people that were up on the stage yesterday as your board of directors were my students. All out of that meeting. All because Dr. O was too broke to get CE. All right? So, when you look at things, all right? When I taught at Parker, I lived in a subdivision in northeast Dallas. My neighbors were about this far apart. We couldn't have horses. We couldn't have more than one dog. My son got hit by a drunk driver. He's 30 years old. But I'm a father first. I've been a father for 30 years. He was in a coma. We were visiting him every day, spending an hour there. With Dr. Amy, she went with us. She went with me every day. And then, I don't know what you want to call her. Right now, I call her the greatest woman in my life is Dr. Amy, and the second greatest woman in my life is my ex-wife, because my ex-wife slapped us with a cease and desist order. Said you can't see your boys anymore because you're treating them with voodoo shit that you can't be treating them with. So you can't see your boys anymore. So we now own a 198-acre ranch, 2.5 hours from the boys. Would we have done that if I could have still seen my boys every day? Nope. So what she did to me then was the worst thing that could have ever happened. But look what's grown out of that. So when you get up in the morning, no matter how bad it looks, you need to go to the mirror and put your make-believe tie on. I don't care whether you put a tie on or not, because I don't wear a tie to work either. No. But you put your tie on and you look at that mirror. And what are you going to say tomorrow? Fill in the blank with me. Doctor, your last name, come on. Doctor, you look awesome. You're going to do fantastic. Go get it. All right? Because only you know what's real. And who's in charge of your reality? You are. Who's in charge of how good your adjustment is? Which way are you headed? All right, there's the reality check again. It's so important. There's also vertebrasubluxationresearch.com. How many of you spend some time every morning for yourself reading, doing some self-growth, meditation, any of that stuff? All right, I would challenge you to spend 5 minutes of your reading time with reality check on vertebrasubluxationresearch.com. For $100, you can subscribe to Vertebral Subluxation Research 4 journals that they publish and their entire archives. There's over 100 peer-reviewed articles online at that site that you can get, and if you read one a day, that's a third of a year. And then Heidi's got over 100 research references in hers. And then she's from New Zealand. And then there's the Australian Foundation of Chiropractic Research that has over 100 published papers. All right? There is research out there. It's not that we have to get it done, it's that we have to get it more known. Okay? Because the only magazines in the world are not the American Journal of the Veterinary Medical Association, and they're not the Holistic Veterinary Journal Medical, and the Journal of Veterinary Research. Those are not the only 3 peer-reviewed magazines out there. Okay? So we need to broaden our horizons and start looking for some of this peer-reviewed research, because it's out there. Science proves the results of successful chiropractic care will improve the nervous system's ability to coordinate the healing process, reduce the likelihood and frequency of injury, and promote full healing if time allows. Okay? And if you believe that, then your adjustments will be good. And you're not going to have to worry about why tick isn't working. Because tick works. We know you are all certified by the avca, which is the gold standard in animal chiropractic. So knowing the LOC should not be a problem. Finding the correct segment should not be a problem. That might be a problem.
There's no job too immense when you got
Confidence! on CE if you need to. Get some confidence, whatever it takes. Build your ego up. Come to doctor's rounds. First, third, and fifth Monday nights of every round. I know I'm not supposed to be up here promoting me, but doctor's rounds isn't about me. It's not about me and Dr. Amy. Because what happens at doctor rounds, Nicole? We do this, don't we? Yeah, baby! And that's what doctor's rounds is about, because sometimes that's all you need. Right? You're doing good. Keep it up. You owe it to the animals in your community. All right, in your notes, you see this horse? Put your hands on it. Both of them. Come on, set up on it. Let's go. Repeat after me. I am the best animal chiropractor that has their hands on this horse right now. Right now. If it's going to get corrected, I'm the one that's going to do it. I can do it. I will do it. Let's go. There's a dog. Get your hands on that dog. One hand. Atlas, come on. Ready? I am the best animal chiropractor with my hands on this dog right now. If it's going to get fixed, who's going to do it? Me. I'm going to fix it. All right? I'm going to fix it right now. All right. Intent is the only problem left. All right? Do we really stand for the adjustment? How many of you now are going to go home and stand for the adjustment? There were 760 chiropractors arrested in the early days of chiropractic. Get your clients involved in positive politics. There was a guy by the name of O.L. Brown. O.L. Brown got arrested so many times, right? Because the MD in town hated his guts, so he threw him in jail. The thing of it was, O.L. Brown's patients were so happy when he got out of jail, they threw a parade every time. Yeah, a parade. Parade so big that the cops had to provide noise and crowd control. They quit arresting O.L. Brown because it was too expensive to let him out of jail. Whoops. Sharon had to sell her house. How many of you knew that the founder of the AVCA, that one of the people that was the backbone of the AVCA, had to sell her house to stay out of jail? Gail got arrested. Dave Zielinski got taken to court. Okay? He's still in court right now. He spent over $70,000 because he's trying to get the laws changed in a positive way. He's had several outs that he could have taken along the way. But he stands for the adjustment. Not saying that we all need to do that, I'm just saying. Cease and desist orders, letters of business from the board will cause sphincter reaction. Believe me, in veterinarians, you're not exempt. When you're adjusting a dog and you get all done adjusting the dog and somebody hands you a card and you read it and it says Texas Board of Chiropractic Examiners, and about the time you get to examiners, she goes, would you like to come to a meeting? Oh, would that be mandatory or voluntary? She looked at me and she started laughing. She goes, oh, I'm sorry. That would be entirely voluntary because what you do is chiropractic, not like some of this other stuff. All right.
Hey, Dr. O.
Yes.
I had to go through I'm from Arizona, and I'm the one that got called for the Arizona Board of Chiropractic Examiners, and as well as the veterinarian examiners. And I spoke on behalf of the ABCA and had a lawyer and got everything set up so that animal chiropractic is accepted. So the statutes are still not correct in Arizona, but the way the statutes are, and Kurt is part of the process as well. And we went before the agricultural committee and I spoke before them to support animal chiropractic. I'm very passionate, and we brought chiropractic to Arizona for everyone, not just the chiropractors, the veterinarians. They had no idea what was going on in chiropractic.
Yep.
They had 1 hour classes of a lecture that included acupuncture and chiropractic, and then they were doing chiropractic adjustments on animals, and that was poppycock.
Yep.
They didn't know what the hell they were doing.
Yep, we've got to stand up for it. So, find a tribe, because like she just said, it wasn't one person, it was 2 or 3 or 4. You got to have a tribe. Be a member of a tribe. You can be a member of 3 or 4 tribes, and that's okay. But there was just a study done that the more groups you're involved in, the less likely you are to be depressed. All right? Join a tribe. Find a group. You know, because your old peers and colleagues probably aren't your old peers and colleagues anymore. Chiropractors, you know, that just do people, don't understand why you're doing animals. Veterinarians that don't do chiropractic don't understand. You know, oh my God, that's voodoo medicine. Why are you? How can you turn drugs away when you know there's so much research behind it? Why are you not doing all that stuff anymore? You know, do you really stand for the adjustment? What would Dee Dee and BJ think? What would Sharon think? I had the unique opportunity to talk to Sharon the day she got taken to hospice before she died. I talked to her for 45 minutes. I didn't realize how important that story was to the AVCA and to other people in the AVCA until yesterday, and I happened to talk to Judith. And Judith was like, oh my God, you don't know that when Sharon left the AVCA, when she left Options for Animals, it was not on good terms. And she had left, and she really felt like she was getting chased out, and she really felt like nobody really appreciated what she did. And so the fact that you called her every year and said thank you, and the fact that you actually talked to her for 45 minutes and let her let go, it was great. And Judith was starting to cry. So anyway, so you've got to tell your story, and I tell a lot of stories, and that's because stories are important. Stories are what, and I might tell a story here, and 20 of you go, oh my God, that story's so boring. But one of you, it hits. So, you know, every year I call about 10 people and I say, hey, thanks for helping me get where I was. You know, and sometimes they're like, oh, that's nothing. But boy, every once in a while it hits somebody and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that. You made my day. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Because you never know what you're going to do. Come to the AVCA convention, even if you don't need your CE, just to say hi to your friends. Get re-dipped. Get re-excited about animal chiropractic. Come to doctor's rounds. Find a way to be with like-minded people. Because it's been proven that the 5 people you spend the most time with, that's what you're going to be like. So if you're with 5 negative people, what are you going to be? Negative. If you're with 5 positive people, what are you going to be? Positive. You spend a lot of time every day with one person, right? Yourself. Who chooses how that person's going to be? You do. Are you going to be a positive adjuster or a negative adjuster? Positive. And who makes that decision every morning? Me. You. Be positive. Put your game face on. Make it be a positive game face. All right. Improve the evidence. You know, your challenge. Improve the availability of evidence-based medicine. Right? Make videos. Report on this stuff. Get these case studies out there. Pictures, videos, reports. We've got a dachshund study going. Check on it. We want 400 dachshunds that are paralyzed by multiple doctors. It takes the study 7 days. That's all it is. Right? All right. Adjust, talk tick everywhere you go. You never know. This gal, I don't know if she made it or not. She said she was going to come. Met that gal when she was 14, playing polo. Not last week. She took that picture for me and sent it to me. She is AVCA certified. Doctor of Chiropractic. She had no clue what she wanted to be when she was 14. She was pretty sure she was going to spend the rest of her life doing that. Yeah, she's doing that. So, huh? She can. She does, but not professional. That's what she does for her job. All right. Be grateful for who you are.
You need an attitude of gratitude. That's all you gotta do.